Welcome to my channel. My name is Suzanne and I am the Digital Optimist. My plan was just to record like a day in the life. Why? Because people ask me a lot. Like a lot of people from BC have been asking me, what are you doing in Nova Scotia? Like, actually, what do you do? And so I thought I would just film, snippets from a day. So I started off the day interviewing a new team member. As you may or may not know, I have an online business and I work on SEO and I do websites for people. And when I say do websites, I mean I optimize them, I update them, I make it so that search engines can find them. So this is all done remotely. Sometimes I meet clients in person, but because I moved to rural Nova Scotia, I do most of my work like online. And if I have meetings with somebody, it's on Zoom. So a person was recommended to me to work for me. And so I had an interview with her. This video starts off with me interviewing a new team member and then doing a little bit of digital work. So then 3 times a week, I have a gym appointment. And this particular day, I did not have a gym appointment, but I was going to go to the gym anyway. But when I looked outside, I discovered that it had been snowing because guess what? It snows in Nova Scotia. So I realized that I was going to have to dig my car out of the driveway if I was going to go anywhere. And then I realized, oh my God, my cousin gave me a snowblower, but it is actually called a snow thrower, which kind of makes sense if you think about it. After you watch this clip, let me know if you think it should be a snow blower or a snow thrower. I definitely ran into a few issues with the snow thrower because number one, I don't know how to use one. I've never used it in my life. I had to locate the cord. Anyway, I went and got it from the shed, have a conversation with the neighbor. Oh yeah, because I had an oil change scheduled for that day. So even though I actually didn't have to go anywhere, I needed to move the car next door because the gas station, the service station is literally next door, but they're not going to come to my house and do it. So I had to get my car over there. Anyway, I end up absolutely flailing and trying to figure out how to use this snow thrower enough to get enough snow moved to move the car out of the driveway, but it turned out to be really heavy snow. And so it didn't throw very well. And so I ended up shoveling a lot of the driveway, which is absolutely fine because that was my workout. So I realized then that I did not need to go to the gym. And in fact, I just got my exercise and my cardio that day by shoveling, which is good. So the next thing that happened was a contractor came by. So I have this old house. I don't know if you can see it. It's right here. I have this old house and I have 2 things going on. One is I have a very low ceiling upstairs that I want to completely take out. And when I first bought the house, I had this great vision of removing the low ceiling. It's not the entire floor. It's just half the floor. Take out the ceiling, open it up to the attic, put in some skylights, add a bunch of windows because it's beautiful back here. Like, over there, just out of the frame. If you watch other videos, then you'll see it, but it's a beautiful forest. You can see the river and I want to look at it. Like it's not really much fun hanging out up there. So I thought, I'm going to make this room amazing. And so a contractor came by. I've been getting quotes and sort of slowly working on this. And he came by and we had a discussion about it. And this is Kyle, and he is totally fine with being on camera. I did ask him, even though he seems a bit uncomfortable, I asked him later because he too wants to get in the habit of recording his work. And so he can talk about his business. So contractor comes over, we talk about it. I'm sort of on the fence as to whether or not I hire him to get started while I'm away because I have a trip coming up. And you'll have to stay tuned to see whether or not I did I? The other issue, actually that's a separate issue. We're not going to talk about that right now because that's the fun project. The upstairs ceiling removal is the fun project. And then I have a less fun project that is necessary to do. So another part of my day was packing because I have a trip coming up to Halifax. I wanted to go spend some time in the city. And I've learned that in rural Nova Scotia, actually apparently all of Nova Scotia, when you say the city, you mean Halifax. There's no other city. So I live near a city or whatever, a town called Bridgewater. And so it was unclear to me as to whether or not people meant that they were going to Bridgewater or Halifax. And so it has been drilled into me now that they're talking about Halifax. So at no time does anybody say the city when they're talking about Bridgewater. It is always and only Halifax. So I was going to take myself to the city to just basically experience city life. I've never spent any time in Halifax. I was also going to a bit of a networking event to do with AI, because in my line of work, I'm very interested. And in fact, scratch that, like not even just because of my work, but I'm just interested in the latest technology and sort of seeing what people are working on and current events to do with technology and AI. And so I went to this thing hosted by an organization called Digital Nova Scotia in conjunction with a startup, like a tech startup incubator. That was the sort of reason why I was going to the city, but I decided to make it like a mini trip and spend a couple of days there, a couple of nights there, and explore the area, and also go see my dead grandparents in the graveyard and make a bit of a trip out of it. And so part of my day was packing. I think there's some footage of me packing. And so that's it. I think I stopped recording. I'm like, you know what? That's enough stuff for the day. There was a lot of footage. We had a lot of things happen. And the funny thing about all of it is, with the exception of getting work done in the morning, everything else that happened is a one-off event. The contractor doesn't usually come over. I'm not usually interviewing people. I'm not usually packing to go to the city. And I usually don't just wander around the house with my camera either. So that's it. A lot of those things are just one-off things. That's what I'm doing in Nova Scotia. Let me know if you want to see another day. There are some typical days, but stay tuned. Follow me if you want to see videos about SEO and website tips. That's kind of just one thing. SEO tips, website tips. Just living a rural life, moving from the city to the country, buying a giant historic house that needs a lot of work. And I also talk about running an online business and creating a lifestyle business, which is basically the same for me as an online business, because it's been very interesting growing the business. I was going to say remotely, but growing the business online when I live in a small community. Thanks for following along, and stay optimistic. I know you will, and I will see you in the next video.